Assalamu alaikum. Hello and namaste. Welcome to another inspiring episode, number 72 of the Limelight. I'm your host Fareen here, and today on the hot seat, we have a woman entrepreneur who took storytelling to a new level by creating her venture, Story Voyage. So, listeners, please welcome our guest, Priti Sudarsan. Hello, Priti. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. It's nice to have you on my podcast.
Thank you.
You're welcome, dear. So, Preeti, before we talk about your profession as a storyteller, I want you to tell our listeners about yourself.
I would say I'm an economist.
Mhm.
I was working with bank and I was a banker until 8 years back. Suddenly one day, I don't know, I felt that I have to do something interesting which really interests me. Not that banking didn't interest me, but the 9 to 5 job was getting too monotonous and too boring. I did take a break because of my marriage and but then I never wanted to go back to the same 9 to 5 job. So
Mhm.
I was in search of something which really interests me. And I told always in my circle by everyone, including my parents, that I kind of build story really well. I'm very expressive, talkative. Of
Mhm.
course, that's a negative and a positive too. But when everyone told me that time, I never thought that I. And suddenly one day, I came across storytelling,
Mhm.
and that's when I knew that storytelling can be a profit. So yeah, and since then, definitely there's no looking back, one step at a time. And I have been enjoying the journey, has been really good. And I discovered that I can tell stories and I can be a storyteller. And
Mhm.
yeah, I have been enjoying this space a lot.
Wow, it is surely inspiring. I just pray that God keeps you and your family healthy and happy always.
Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome, dear. So, what really inspired you to start Story Voyage?
Voyage, my baby, I have been having a concept in mind, but want to tell stories in a setup which was fixed, like inside a room or something like that, which
Okay.
everyone generally does. I was having a discussion with my husband every time, and I said, if I want to start something, I would like to start something very different,
Mhm.
which would be very interesting. And we all know that, stories are definitely interesting. Our grandparents would have told us many stories. But however interesting a story is, an attention span of a child, or
Mhm.
even for us adults, for a child, it's not beyond 10-15 minutes. For adults, maximum 20-30 minutes, they cannot sit still
Mhm.
unless and until if we are watching a movie. That's why we have a break.
Right.
3 hours movie or 2.5 hours movie, we do have a break in between because we cannot sit still and we however interesting it is, even if it is a big star movie or whatever it is. So the
Mhm.
same way even the storytelling goes by. So if you're keeping the children inside four walls and telling them a story, however interesting you are, the
Mhm.
attention span will not be that much. That's when this concept of Story Voyage came up, where I could take kids to different places
Mhm.
and tell them story inside the bus. So it's more like a picnic kind of an experience. So inside the bus there'll be lots of stories or sing along, and then we reach the destination, whatever it is,
Mhm.
inside Chennai. And then after that we see the place around. Then that children are very excited, and mostly my stories will be in relation to where we are going. So if you're going for, so my story would be related to aquarium fishes, and the sing along will also be based on the same theme. So
Okay.
that inquisitiveness for the children, and they also participate and they look forward, and it's not a monotonous boring thing. So that's how concept came up, and it was quite liked by everyone.
Well, indeed, it's a unique concept and very interesting. Kids won't feel bored in this. Now, what were the challenges you faced when you started Story Voyage?
There were a lot of challenges. There were a lot of challenges. Issue of lockdown and everything, that is totally different. But otherwise, the challenges are lots because one, that something like this was never here in Chennai. Of course, not even in northern parts is what I have seen.
Mhm.
So the thing is the places. Chennai, though it has a lot of other places, but still, the tourist kind of a place where kids also enjoy, safe, and they have some learning and things like that are very few. The place is almost in 3 months, 3 to 4 months.
Oh,
And
okay.
second is definitely the heat, because the problem cannot go out at every part
Right.
of the month. So the places where you go to is mostly a garment, place or
Mhm.
and things like that. So definitely it will not be air conditioned or crowded and things like that. So we cannot take the children to such places also all the time, around
Right.
the year. So to plan things accordingly and to choose a time and a slot which is comfortable for the kids
Mhm.
and to take them out, and it was all a big challenge. And then putting in everything, because it is not only one thing, it is, first is like, you promote and bring in about 30 kids, and
Right.
then you arrange for a bus for them, then getting in all the other in proper line, and then executing it. It was
Mhm.
it that part is like a little, because it's not dependent only on you. If it's only you, then it's different. When you are dependent on someone else, you cannot expect them to be at par with what you are, because their point of view is totally different. So bringing aspects together and working on it was challenging. Yeah,
Mhm.
but every time I get to learn. Every
Right.
time is a new learning for me, so I try not to make that mistake.
In your field right now, what you're doing, it's all about the processes to work together to make something successful.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, now after all the serious questions, I have a fun part for you. It's called the rapid fire round, where I will be asking you three random questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence. Okay,
Okay, sure.
so my first question is, which is your favorite movie or a drama?
Andaz apna apna.
It's a funny movie.
Yeah,
So my second question is, are you a cat or a dog lover?
actually, I don't love both. I am a fish lover.
That's cute. Fish, you must be having an aquarium then.
I was having, now we shifted to a new house, so I'm yet to plan all that.
Ah, okay. So my last question is, if you had one superpower, what would that be?
I'll definitely want to fly.
Okay, that's good. No need of airplanes or any transport. You can just fly.
Yeah, yeah, even to buy groceries, even to, you don't have to take your car, you don't have
Right,
house, doing your household chores. You can just fly and finish it off.
right. Okay, that was the end of the rapid fire round, and your answers were really cute. I don't have a gift hamper to give you, but maybe someday I will send it to you.
Sure, thank you.
You're welcome. We are at the last segment of our show where we ask your advice for our listeners.
In my initial stages of life, I always thought we should grab the opportunity, whatever we get, and we should try to prove ourselves and things like that. But on the later stages, I realized that, we should always do what we really love, because life as such is a monotonous thing. We have to get up in the morning, take care of the family, we have to do the, household chores or whatever. At least most of us do, most of
Mhm.
the ladies do. We enjoy that. But at least if we do something what we really love. See, if you have a financial instability, if you have some financial constraints, you have to go for work. I totally agree. But in that, if you really feel you can do something different. If you can do something where, you know, something which excites you, if you start doing like that, it will definitely bring in a lot of change in our way of looking at life. Because us as women, we work in circle. It just keeps rounding and rounding. We don't have an opportunity to break through, and because one day we can say we cannot cook, but we cannot do that on a daily basis because we have to feed the family. So you can take a break from certain things, but you cannot do that on a regular basis. Of course, men also have. But if you really like doing Zumba or any kind of exercise or anything, if
Mhm.
you do something of that, or in craft and things like that, it will definitely bring in a lot of change in your life. You will
Mhm.
start looking forward to that me time. It can be different for different people. Some people just would want to step out of the house and just, walk around the streets, they'll
Mhm.
feel happy. So we have to find out what we require and do it. That will bring in a big change.
Wow, I really love your advice, and I can really relate myself to what you're saying actually. I mean, if we love what we do and that gives us happiness and satisfaction. Well, Preeti, I must thank you for taking time and doing this podcast with me. Thank you so much.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much for inviting me. And it was real fun. I really had a good time.
Me too. Okay, listeners, if you like this interview, please click on the like button of the Limelight page, and also I will be sharing Preeti's page and the work she does. Do check it out. Thank you for listening and have a great day ahead. Allah Hafiz.